Late night. Zach pushed the door open, a plastic bag of spicy hot pot, my supposed favorite, dangling from his hand. Sweat glazed his forehead as he grinned at me, the kind of grin that begged for a pat on the head. I only glanced over, turned, and dropped the takeout into the trash. Locking eyes with his instant freeze, I said, "Tomorrow we file the divorce papers." Before we continue, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. The grin petrified on Zach's face. The flattery hadn't even faded before it flipped to disbelief and rage. He jabbed a finger at the garbage, hand trembling. "Serena, are you sick in the head? I waited 2 hours at that trendy hotspot for this. Today's our 3rd anniversary. I brought you a surprise, and you trash it?" The air reeked of chili oil, ferocious, peppery beef fat. Once, I would have cried happy tears, gulped ice water, and forced it down with him. Now the smell cramps my stomach, a wave of pure nausea. I watch his tantrum with zero expression. His neck flushes scarlet. "Done?" My voice is soft, but it lands like ice water. Zach freezes, not expecting the chill. "Don't be ungrateful, Serena. I skipped dinner just to get that spicy hot pot. Pull it out of the trash and I'll pretend this never happened." He's still clinging to that condescending savior act. A cold laugh slips out. The laugh tugs my abdominal stitches, cold sweat beads. "Zach, did you forget I've got a shredded stomach?" He wrinkles his nose. "I know, but you never held back before. Stop the drama." I apologized. What more do you want? In his universe my endurance was just part of the package. I used to eat chili for him, then swallow a fistful of antacids afterward. I don't love him anymore. I bend, yank a crumpled sheet from under the coffee table, plus a wad of gauze stained rust red, and fling both at his face. The gauze drifts to the carpet, the color stabs his eyes. He grabs the paper by reflex. Discharge summary. Clear, blunt. Brianna scrolled, gastric polyp removal with gastric bleeding. No spicy food allowed. Signed yesterday. Zach's fingers stiffen around the page. His face drains white. "You had surgery? Impossible. You're built like an ox, how could you land on an or table?" Built like an ox? Me hauling propane tanks, snaking drain pipes, pitching sterling proposals while feverish, that equals strong in his book. I stare at his panicked eyes, absurdity laughs inside me. "I called you 3 times yesterday. What did you say?" His gaze darts, won't meet mine. He reaches for my arm, voice softened. "Babe, I didn't know. Had I known, I'd have stayed with you." I jerk away, step back. Stomach cramps skewer me, yet I keep my spine steel straight. "Don't touch me. You're filthy." The word hits like a slap, shame reignites his anger. I already explained. How long will you keep this up? The spicy hot pot was for you, 2-hour line, fact. Fact? I point at the oozing bag in the bin. That joint's south side, we live north side. 2 hours of driving, not queuing. Zach, that trendy hotspot sits under Brianna's apartment. The bag reeks of her gardenia perfume, so thick you either didn't smell it or you think I'm stupid. Zach's pupils shrink. Cornered cat shrill leaks into his voice. "You're delusional. I just gave Brianna a ride home. She's an intern, late shift, not safe. The spicy hot pot is for you, because you love it. A ride. North City to South City, straight across Riverdale, he calls that on the way." I stay silent, gaze drifting to the wall clock. Hands crossed at 2 a.m. Who needs escorting all the way to bed? Who needs escorting until 2 in the morning? Zach's face turns liver red. Humiliation detonates, he slams his key fob onto the console. "Serena, can you not be so disgusting? Brianna and I are squeaky clean. She's a kid in trouble, why can't I help? Show some generosity, will you, dear wife?" Same old script. Bring up Brianna and I morph into the narrow-minded Shri. While she stays the fragile lily in need of shelter. "If it's so clean, show me your phone." I stretch out my palm. He slaps a hand over his pocket, eyes wary. "Why? Don't we even have basic trust? See? You reek of guilt." I drop my hand, look away. Fatigue floods in like the tide. "Zach, divorce. I'm exhausted. I won't act in your romance charade any longer." He stands frozen. I used to be so easy, tiny apology, $5 trinket, all forgiven. So he assumes I'm throwing another tantrum. Fine, divorced it is. "Serena, don't come crawling back. You're bossy and boring, who else would put up with you? I've clung on out of nostalgia." He hurls the parting shot and slams the door. The impact knocks our wedding photo crooked. In it I beam, he stares elsewhere, already absent. Turns out the hints were threads laid 1,000 miles back, now they weave a full picture. Silence pours into the living room. I stare at the empty space, no tears come. That bowl of spicy hot pot in the trash is the perfect metaphor for our marriage, glossy red surface, gutter oil, and garbage underneath. My phone buzzes. An Instagram alert from my close friends list, Brianna. Either she forgot to block me or she posted it for my viewing. Picture, a hand peeling crawfish. On the ring finger, the Cartier band I bankrupted myself for to give Zach. Caption, thanks for Big Bro's favoritism. Let the world misunderstand, just stay with me. GPS ping, Riverside. Right across the street from my condo at Harborview. So when he slammed the door, it wasn't rage. He was rushing to console his little damsel in distress. I tapped the photo, zoomed in. Fresh scratches scored Zach's wrist. I powered the phone off, and the cramp in my stomach seemed to ease. What replaced it was a clarity I'd never felt before. Next morning, I stepped out of the guest room. Zach was slumped on the couch. Purple-gray bags under his eyes, he hadn't slept. He straightened when he saw me, chin lifted, waiting for the apology. He thought he was owed. The table was bare. By now I'd usually have 4 dishes, soup, and rice laid out, chopsticks aligned, calling him to eat. He was used to being served. He figured if I skipped breakfast I'd finally realize my mistake. I walked past him to the bedroom. I yanked the suitcase from under the bed and started packing. Most of the closet was his. I took only the few suits I rotate for work and a change of underwear. The wheels screeched across the hardwood, each roll cracking through the dead quiet living room. Zach couldn't sit still any longer. He lunged, slamming a hand on the luggage. Serena, are you done yet? Who exactly are you trying to impress, hauling suitcase at dawn? Okay, I was harsh last night, but I was trying to calm you down. Brianna posts random stuff on Instagram, don't make it about you. He still thought the Instagram story was what had me furious. I shoved his hand away hard enough to knock him off balance. Move. My stare froze him, an iciness he'd never seen. Serena, seriously? All this over a bowl of spicy hot pot? Because I missed a couple calls? I laughed instead of yelling. My mind flashed to the storm 2 nights ago. I'd collapsed in the foyer, guts on fire. Cold sweat soaked my blouse, vision tunneled. Shaking, I dialed him 3 times. First call, sent straight to voicemail. Second rang forever until he picked up. Rain and Brianna's baby voice poured through. Ah. Thunder, I'm scared, big brother. I tried to speak, pain stole my breath. Zach's irritated voice sliced like a blade. Serena, grow up, okay? Brianna hates thunder. I'm busy. Grab a cab to the ER and quit whining. Click. I crawled downstairs and waited 30 minutes in the downpour for the ambulance. When the pain blacked me out, I thought I'd die on that wet pavement. I woke to a nurse's clipboard. My husband was busy playing night for another woman. Now he wouldn't shut up. Brianna's from a single-parent home, she's fragile. You're her sister-in-law, cut her some slack. Besides, you're independent. You can handle a hospital run. I studied this man in front of me. 3 years ago he burned with a 104-degree fever. Roads were snowed in, no ride. I hoisted 140 pounds of him on my back and stumbled 3 miles through drifts to the ER. Blisters bloomed on my soles, I never whimpered. Back then I believed spouses flocked together. Now I know, when disaster comes, I'm the bird, he's the brat with the slingshot. Zach. I cut his rant off. Do you assume I can't feel pain? Or that I can't die? He went rigid. My tone was flat, the kind of calm that terrifies. Stop talking crazy. I didn't mean. I slapped a debit card onto the coffee table. The plastic cracked like a gunshot. Zach's eyes lit, he thought I was surrendering the household purse. I changed the pin. 4 words, smile vaporized. Already moved every dollar out. From now on, your car note, Harborview HOA, utilities, and the bags you buy Brianna, are your headache. His face caved. $6,000 a month doesn't cover his coupe payment. My $500,000 salary had bankrolled us for years, even the allowance he wired mommy and daddy. Serena, what the hell? You starving me now? We're married. What's yours is mine. I dragged the suitcase toward the door. Not for long. He roared behind me, a cornered animal. Walk out and don't crawl back. Let's see who wants your dried up self. When your cash dries up, don't come sobbing. The door clicked shut. Glass shattered, our wedding crystal, bought with a month of my paycheck. Good. Shards sound like safety. 3rd morning in the hotel. Silence felt illegal. No laundry mountain, no ripe socks, no husband grading my performance. I clocked in, chaired meetings, inked contracts. Apart from a pale face, nobody guessed I'd just had surgery and was prepping a divorce. Zach, on the other hand, detonated my phone. Day 1, blame. Serena, where are you? Laundry's breeding. Takeout sucks, get home and cook. You can. Win by hiding, stay gone if you dare. I read every text, answered none. Day 2, pity party. Babe, my stomach. Must be bad takeout. Come home and make plain congee, please? I messed up. Sorry, I snapped. Old me would have bolted back at the word stomach. Now it felt like satire. I'd hemorrhaged alone while he inhaled spicy hot pot. He gets gas and I'm supposed to play nurse? I typed one letter, nope. Day 3, rage. Serena, why's the card declined? I'm at the mall, Brianna's picked a bag, clear the limit now. Don't disgrace me. Bottom line, wallet empty. I blocked his WhatsApp. Called the bank and iced the supplemental credit card. The one attached to my primary, his pride band-aid. From now on, feeding dogs beats funding him. Afternoon coffee. Reception buzzed, visitor downstairs. I found Brianna draped on a lobby sofa in the Chanel dress Zach bought last week, with my plastic. The second she saw me she jumped to her feet, eyes rimmed red, like a terrified little bunny. Every employee and client who passed couldn't help staring, assuming I was some tyrannical exec bullying an intern. Sis. She called me in a shrinking squeak, soft enough to seem timid, loud enough for the onlookers to hear. I don't want a title, I only want to stay by Zach's side. Don't blame him. I'm the one who can't let go. If you need to hit or curse someone, aim it at me, just don't freeze his supplemental credit card, the stress is killing him. Classic retreat as advance. She'd just cemented my reputation as the wife who weaponizes money, and cast herself as the pitiful martyr for love. The whispering around us swelled. Wow, ice cold, looks competent but she's clearly a dragon lady. No wonder the guy cheats, she keeps him on a fiscal choke chain. Poor kid, she wants the man, not the money. Brianna soaked it up, lips curling in a smirk so faint you could miss it. She stepped closer and reached for my hand. Sis, just let us be. I stared at the manicured fingers stretching toward me, sleek, polished, delicate. Mine are knuckly and rough from years of scrubbing pots and floors. I didn't pull away. I let her clasp my hand. Then, with the other, I lifted the iced Americano I'd just bought, double ice. Splash, one fluid flick of my wrist, the entire cup hit her face. No hesitation. Brown rivulets carved through her perfect makeup and dripped onto the pricey white dress, blooming like stains of wet mud. Brianna shrieked, stumbling back, palms over her eyes. Ah! My eyes. That's when the figure who'd been hiding behind a pillar finally burst out. Zach shoved me aside so hard I slammed into the glass door, a bolt of pain shooting through my back. Serena, you psycho. He jabbed a finger at me, spit flying. Brianna came here to make peace and you assault her? Look at yourself, total lunatic. I must have been blind to marry you. The lobby fell dead silent. Everyone watched the circus. Cradled in Zach's arms, Brianna sobbed prettily, trembling all over. Zach, don't blame her. It's my fault. I shouldn't have come, I just hate to see you fight. Zach's heart melted, he dabbed at her ruined dress while glaring at me. Serena, apologize to Brianna, now, or you'll regret it. I rolled my sore shoulder, smiled at the two lovebirds clinging to each other. Apologize? Zach, is your brain filled with oatmeal? I raised my phone and cranked the volume. Hit play on a recording I'd started the moment Brianna approached. Through the lobby chatter her lowered voice rang clear. Old hag, he doesn't love you. Squatting over the potty but not flushing, get lost. Your money will be mine and Zach's soon enough. When the clip ended, you could have heard lint drop. The gawkers who judged me seconds ago wore priceless expressions. Zach froze. Brianna in his arms turned to stone, forgetting to keep crying. It's doctored, she babbied, clutching his sleeve. Zach, that's not me, she's setting me up. I gave her an arctic stare. Doctor, a recording captured 60 ds ago? I'd need sorcery. I tapped another file, Zach's own voice note from last month. Baby, I'm sorry, nobody's washing my socks and takeout sucks. The two snippets, back to back, told the whole story, a gold-digging mistress and a deadbeat who wanted wife-sponsored fun on the side. The tide flipped instantly. God, the nerve of that girl. All that tearjerker act, she's after the cash. And him, spends her money on the side piece, still wants laundry service? Zach's face toggled between crimson and white. He opened his mouth but couldn't speak under the weight of every pointing finger. His fragile ego was being ground into the terrazzo. Serena, you set me up, he hissed. Set you up? I straightened my blazer, every inch the senior VP again. Zach, you set yourself up. Since we've got an audience, let's clear the ledger. I pulled a folder from my tote, prepared long ago. The condo? Paid in full before the wedding, deed solely in my name. The car? Bought by me, registration in my name, sure, you drove it. As for savings, I wiggled my phone. Aside from the supplemental credit card you maxed out, you don't own a cent. You assumed marital property, didn't you? Sorry, I work in risk control, I know community property law. Zach's knees nearly folded. His game plan, stay married and coast, or divorce and grab half, had just vaporized. He'd been swimming naked the whole time. No way. I paid for renovations. Renovations? I snorted. You mean those posters you bought on clearance? The $1,900 sofa? Fine, I'll depreciate them, here's $2,000, feel better? Zach looked hollow. He glanced at Brianna. Her gaze had already cooled, dependence replaced by calculation. She'd heard it, Zach was broke, the condo wasn't his. What was left to chase? His body odor. His crow's feet? Zach. Brianna let go of his sleeve and inched sideways. If sis is this upset, maybe we should back off. I don't want to wreck a family. Zach gaped at her. Brianna, what happened to true love? You said money didn't matter. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, embarrassed. That was conditional on you affording my latte habit. When you're couch surfing, how are you supposed to keep me happy? A surgical strike if ever there was one, I almost applauded. A schemer may be toxic, but when reality calls, she slices deeper than anyone. Zach looked like someone had ripped out his spine. He looked at Brianna, then at me. Finally realizing what he'd lost. He tried to step toward me, forcing a smile uglier than a sob. Babe. Serena. I know I messed up, she tricked me. You saw it, she's only after money. You're the one who ever truly loved me. Can we go home? I swear I'll straighten up. He reached to grab my hand. I took one step back, and my lawyer moved in on cue. She was Sterling's litigation ace, and my college roommate. Zach, good afternoon. She handed over a thick folder. This is the divorce settlement. If you refuse to sign, that envelope contains a court summons. Given clear proof of adultery and suspected marital asset fraud, we will press for a clean slate exit and full restitution of gifts you gave the third party. Zach stared at the stack of evidence, hotel receipts, bank transfers, even the flirty WhatsApp threads he'd shared with Brianna. Any single page could end him. You've been digging for months, he stammered. I looked down at him. From the moment you hung up on me in that thunderstorm, I started building this file. Zach, I'm not stupid, I just used to be too tired to count. But the one thing you never should have done was pick my pocket while I was gambling my life. His knees buckled and he crumpled to the floor. Security strode over, hoisted him up, and hauled him toward the exit. Sir, please don't disturb our guests. He was dragged out like a stray, still screaming my name. Serena, you can't do this to me. I'm your husband. Brianna had already slipped away, her half-finished latte left cooling on the table. I exhaled toward the revolving door. My stomach still twinged, but the boulder in my chest was finally gone. The divorce sailed through. Evidence airtight, Zach signed rather than risk jail. Out with nothing. I also clawed back the tens of thousands he'd blown on Brianna's bags and baubles. When she tearfully handed over those knockoff purses, her face turned pistachio green. Turns out Zach had bought fakes to look flush. Karma doing stand-up comedy. A month later I spotted him outside Sterling. If not for that familiar wrinkled shirt I'd have walked right past, unshaven, hollow-cheeked, stooped. They'd canned him after I mailed HR his hotel receipts and proof he'd skimmed the expense account. In this zip code his name is Mud. Brianna bailed the second she saw the debts, latching onto some trust fund kid in a Lamborghini. Zach clutched a stainless steel thermos. When he saw me he limped over, eyes bright with hopeless hope. Serena. Voice like sandpaper. Your stomach's still fragile. I simmered plain congee for 3 hours. You used to cook for me, let me take care of you now. It was rush hour, coworkers started rubbernecking. He dropped to his knees, a public performance. Babe, I was so wrong. Only after you left did I see you were the one who never cared about money. Give me one more shot, please. Almost Oscar-worthy, if I didn't know the script. He wasn't mourning me, he was mourning the revoked meal ticket, the live-in maid. I stopped. Lifted the lid of the thermos, steam rose, rice grains dissolved, 3-hour claim looked legit. 3 hours? I asked. He nodded so hard his neck cracked, a spark in his eyes. Up at 5, bought the most expensive rice at Whole Foods. I laughed until tears blurred the lobby lights. Zach, the night I ran a 103 degrees fever you whined about fetching me water. The day I was hospitalized with a bleeding ulcer, you were poolside with your side piece. Now you've got zero, and you think a bowl of porridge buys BAC. K a $500,000 a year wife? Your abacus is shattering in my face. I took the thermos. Under his dazzled gaze I tilted it. The mush splattered into the trash bin, hissing on the mulch like insult to injury. Serena, he shrieked, as if I'd poured out his heart instead. I looked straight at him. Belated affection is cheaper than weeds. That slop wouldn't pass a dog's taste test. Don't disgust me again. Security got the cue, muscled him off property still wailing, a performing clown. I didn't bother turning around. I strode through the Sterling doors. A black Maybach idled at the curb. The window glided down and Sterling's new partner, Adrian, passed me a cup of warm herbal tea, red dates, goji berries, perfect temperature. President Jiang, case closed? His tone carried warmth and unmistakable respect. Closed, I said, sipping. Heat slid down my throat and pooled in my repaired stomach like liquid calm. Dinner to celebrate? He opened the door. There's a new healing broth hot pot in Midtown, great for post-op stomachs. Sunlight haloed him, the world minus Zach tasted like sugar air. I smiled and climbed in. Let's go. My phone buzzed with a push alert, man detained for harassing ex-wife outside office tower. Photo, Zach folded into a squad car, undone. I swiped it away and powered off the screen. The car merged into traffic. Skyline blurred past, moldy memories tossed out the window. Ahead, an unmapped future. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, hit like and share it with friends. Leave your thoughts below, subscribe for more, and see you next time.